We are on, by the way.
Oh, good.
I was like, I can't think of a cooler intro.
I need to cut my hair.
I just got mine cut.
I meant to schedule a hair appointment for tomorrow. God damn it.
Well, stream's over. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Welcome. It is Tuesday. It is a Talk Tuesday. Guess what we're going to be doing today? Talking.
I think we might be chatting.
We may be chatting. How I know I'm gonna pretend like we weren't just talking for a very long time, but pretty short for us. How was your week? How was your couple of weeks?
It was good. And sorry, just as a disclaimer for anyone watching, I am solo parenting tonight. So if you see me just staring down, it's because I'm watching my kid's monitor. She's been sick, and I've been trying to it's been okay so far. I gave her some cough medicine, and we'll see what she's doing. But so far, she's okay. Anyway,
Nice.
it's been a excuse me. Personal note, rough, but things are looking up. You and I talked about it off mic. I'll spare the viewers my personal garbage.
The gory details.
Things haven't been the best in the last 2 weeks, but I'm still kicking, still moving on. On non-personal news, like I should say, side note, this personal on the personal level, things are starting to trend in a better direction, but it's still just going to be some time. So It sucks, but it is what it is. Been playing a lot of games, not watching a lot of shows or movies. I've already beaten 2 games so far this year.
Nice. Paper Mario?
I started Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. The games I have beaten so far this year are Muppet Treasure Island.
Nice. Hey, what's up, Drew? Whoa.
Yeah, there we go. Perfectly synced up. Muppet Treasure Island, which, dude, that game fucking rocks. It's so good.
That's got to be what? PS1?
No, it's PC.
Oh.
Old school PC though. Like 90s. Like you have to find like someone to emulate DOSBox.
Oh my god.
Right?
That's wild. Is it like a point and click?
Yeah, it's
okay.
So, how can I put this? It is good for the production value. Not necessarily. The gameplay is boring, is what I'm saying. Like, it's meant for kids. The puzzles really aren't puzzles. It's more of kind of like an interactive storybook combined with some light puzzle elements.
Oh, okay. I had a bunch of those like games like that came with my Windows 95 PC as a kid, so I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
The reason it's so good though is that they got all the Muppets and the voice actors of the Muppets to be in it.
Nice.
They created a new Muppet for it named Stevenson, who's supposed to be your guide parrot.
Whoa.
That's like, so like if you get stuck in a room, you can click on him and he'll give you a hint as to what to do, type of thing. Or he also lets you save or save or quit, which is funny that there's a save option because if you play it straight through, it's an hour and a half.
That's hilarious.
And I took my time. Like, if you really want to do, you could probably beat it in like 20 minutes. And the only reason it would take that long is because of cutscenes.
Yeah.
Which even then, you can skip most of them if you hit the space bar. Anyway, so all the Muppets are in. A lot of the Muppets are in it. There's original dialogue and original jokes.
Wow.
For the game, not entirely original, but there's a lot more than you would expect.
Yeah.
And they also got Billy Connolly and Tim Curry to be green screened for it. Like, they have their own separate parts in it. It's amazing.
That's awesome. In Windows 95, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
That's wild. I have to check that out. Yeah, I had a bunch of...
If you want, I can send you the download, like the way to download it completely for legally free.
Yes. Well, it would be apropos if it was not legal anyway, because it's pirates.
Pirates.
The black spot.
One of the best jokes, side note, that was written for it was It's what is it? They Billy Bones goes up and goes, "The black spot got me," and he walks into his bedroom, and Gonzo comes behind and he's like, "Wait, is it a real black spot? I've never seen a real black spot before, Mr. B," and walks in after him. Mr. B,
Mr.
like what a
B.
oh, it's so
I
good.
love Gonzo.
Uh, Gonzo was my favorite and still is my favorite.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite too. Although I do
So
have
yeah,
a very soft spot for or a very hard spot, if you know what I mean. For New Zealand. Do you know who he is?
no.
He's like not even B tier. He's like C tier level Muppet. He's the guy who just
Oh,
throws
he's
the
the
fish.
fish.
Yeah. Oh, Rolf
It's
was
funny.
Drew's favorite.
That's who exactly I thought you were talking about when you said New Zealand.
Yeah. It's so funny too because like he doesn't even have. Why is his name that? It's not like he has a New Zealand accent. It's not like he has speaks like a Kiwi. You know.
Mm.
Speaking of Kiwi,
Rolf was your favorite.
I like
Rolf
Rolf.
was Drew's. Rolf was cool. I also loved the Swedish Chef,
Oh
just
yeah,
because it's the
classic.
fact that he has human hands.
The
And
real hands. I like the popcorn shrimp skit. Still gets me.
uh, there was when the Muppets were still doing like little YouTube videos and what back like 10 years ago or
That
so.
was cool.
They did Carol of the Bells, and it's Beaker, the Swedish Chef, and Animal. And Beaker's doing the
Yeah.
me, and then the Swedish was and then
Nice.
Animal's like trying to find the right instrument, and he just can't seem to find it. Uh,
Oh, that's
Also, one of
great.
my subtle favorite jokes of all Muppet movies in Muppets Christmas Carol, when they're at the party at Fozziwig's party,
Uh huh.
um, and you see there's a band playing, and it's Dr. Teeth and his band and
Yeah.
everything,
The Electric
and Animals
Mayhem.
play in the Electric Mayhem, and Animals playing the drums, obviously, but it's a slow song.
Yeah.
And so he's just going, he's like trying so hard to contain his
Yes.
like rage. He's like, he's just getting steadily more insane.
Quiet.
I fucking love that joke so much just because he's trying so hard to keep it contained, but he can't. Like, it's such
Yeah.
a subtle thing. We're talking about the Muppets, Gilmer.
Right. Nothing untoward like we usually end up talking about.
I know, right?
I like the
So,
Muppets
yes,
more as I get older.
dude, same.
It's become a Christmas tradition around here to watch Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Did you ever watch that?
I don't think I've actually. No, I haven't. I've heard of it though.
It's so great. I have it on DVD. I think you can just watch it on YouTube, but it's like a half hour long, maybe an hour. I think it's a half hour. And it's like it was made in like the 70s, I think. So it's like old. Like Jim Henson was still alive and he's still doing a lot of the voices and just his charm comes through. It's so like small town backwoods, like something that if that was made today, it would just feel so different because the time, like small town backwoods type folk are a different kind nowadays. And they're like usually the worst kinds of people. But this made me really like the idea of like the small town where everybody knows each other. And yes, Drew is correct. It is so heartwarming and it is awesome. It'll just feel, I cry every time I watch it. And it's not even like particularly like moving. It's moving in a way that's, I guess heartwarming is the best way to put it. It's not anything that's going to like change your life, but every year I watch it and every year I cry. Like it's just so it's so beautiful.
It's like I see the thing is like you can still find that the problem is like now small town is so associated with like rural conservative rednecks, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. When like you could easily just like what is it? Mutual friend of ours, Sinye.
Yeah.
Like
wow, I haven't heard that name in a while.
right? I miss her. She's awesome.
Hmm.
She lives out in Oregon now, and
Right.
she does like a lot. She goes to all these like communes and everything like that. Like not like like a weird. How can I put this? Like she's very hippie-ish, but it's not like she lives in a commune. It's like, excuse me, this is an event that people come and gather and just celebrate art with each other for like a week or something like that.
Yeah.
And That's a very Signet type of thing.
Totally.
But it kind of reminds me like of the small town vibe. You set up this small town for a little bit, and whatnot, and you just you don't hang out, but I think also a lot of online stuff has supplanted the small town vibe. Like you have your own cozy community that you interact with
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, this is definitely more like this town's existed for ages, and like I don't know, like the way that everyone talks, like it's got that Jim Henson kind of. I don't know how you would describe the way that he would talk, but just straight hippie, like 70s hippie, but like a little bit more southern drawl. Like the main character Emmett Otter is this really cute little otter, as you would imagine, and he's always just like, "Wow, wasn't that great? Wow." He's like, "Ah, I'm gonna have to hawk Pa's old tool
Tua.
shed, not hawk Tua." Emmett Otter's hawk Tua Christmas. But he's like, "I'm gonna have to hawk
on that thing."
Pa's tool chest in order to get my ma." It's very Sound of the Magi, like
Okay.
he like puts a hole in his ma's wash tub to make a wash tub base to try out for the talent show, and she hawks the tool chest that he uses for odd jobs to get him to make a dress to sing in the talent show, and they surprise each other at the talent show. Like it's so freaking cute. And there it is. Yeah, you're right, Gilmer. God damn it.
Didn't take me long to hawk Tua the thing in there.
Hawk to a spit on that thing. I can't believe like the rise and fall of that on Google search trends is probably like a single line straight up and down.
It took. I mean, hey, if she hadn't decided to get into crypto, she'd still be riding high.
Damn. Is that what? Did she get into crypto and it all went to shit?
She got into crypto. She created the Hawk Tua coin. And
Oh
it
my God.
bombed immediately.
Of course it did.
And now she's getting like sued and shit. So, yeah.
Well, Hawk to a spit on that lawsuit.
So anyway, so real quick to wrap up what I have been playing, the two games I beat, Muppet Treasure Island, and then I also beat Beloved Rapture, which is an indie RPG game that I'm going to be covering on the show in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
The episode has not been recorded yet, but it'll be out sometime in February.
Yeah.
Supposedly. It's assuming my guest can finish up their half, and then we can continue on. So I have some other stuff that I experienced, but I'm throwing it back over to you, sir, to go over some of your things.
Yeah. I've been seeing you playing Beloved Rapture on Steam every now and then. Your little thing will pop up, and every time I see your username, I won't say it if you don't want me to, but it makes me want to watch that movie.
What movie? Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I guess movies.
I thought you were talking about the game title for a second. I'm like, what movie would you watch with the rap shirt in? Is it the Left Behind?
Left Behind. Oh my God.
I don't.
Wait, did Kirk Cameron make those?
He stars in them. At the very
Oh
least.
my God, awful. I thought it was
Kirk
Nick Cage
Cameron.
for some reason.
No, it's. I mean, maybe Nicolas Cage did them later on, but dude,
Ew.
the Left Behind movies are like. That is the closest thing to a Christian horror movie.
Yeah.
It scared the fuck out of me when I first saw it. Let's see here. Kevin Sorbo, of course.
Of
is in it.
course. Disappointed.
I mean,
Oh, Nick Cage was in a Left Behind movie. Okay, so he was in one of them. I for some reason thought he was in all of them. I could never torture myself enough to watch any of those.
he was in the reboot in 2014, directed by. Hold the phone.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God! What a weird set of coincidences.
Directed by
weird thing.
Uwe Boll.
No, directed by Vic Armstrong, who was the James Bond stunt performer for Sean Connery in the first couple movies.
What? Same guy, not just the same name?
Same dude. It's on the Wikipedia thing. He did stunts for, I mean, he was. Hold on. Where are you at? He was also the stunt performer. He was a stunt double for Harrison Ford in the Indiana Jones movies.
Whoa.
I could have sworn, yeah, he was a stunt double for George Lazenby for the Swiss Alps skiing scenes on the Bond film on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Nice.
What's weird is as a stunt double that makes a little more sense. No, it doesn't. I'm very confused because he definitely was in like a bunch of the Bond movies, but on Wikipedia they decide to stop his credits at 1974 for some reason.
Ooh, something bad happened in 74.
I have no idea.
Damn.
I'm Yeah, but so he did a lot of stunt coordination and stuff like that. He still is alive. Dude's not like he's old, but like considering he worked on the Bond films and then directed a Left Behind movie, you'd think he'd be older. He's
Right.
78.
Oh, that's about.
Like yeah, he's old, but like I don't know. I would
Yeah.
expect, and he's still doing. He has a stunt performer credit for Penny Dreadful in 2016,
That's not even that long
and
ago.
he was the stunt coordinator for an Indiana Jones short called Treasure of the Aztecs, and it looks like it stars a bunch of little kids.
What? Oh,
I've never even fucking heard of this.
weird. That's very weird. He was
That
doing
is
like
very, very
stunts for
odd.
Sean Connery, and Sean Connery was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll let him do all my stunts except for the scenes where I have to hit a woman. I'll do that myself."
And in Connery's defense, he did retract that later on.
Yeah, I know. We always talk
He's still not the best person. I'm not going to deny that. He wasn't the best person.
about. No. Who's your favorite Bond?
Roger Moore actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a solid choice.
Even though I wouldn't say he's like the best one, he was the one that like really. So Pierce Brosnan would have been my first and like is my first, and he's would have been my favorite, but like his movies, as much as I still enjoy them, haven't aged as well as some of the others.
Mm,
And I really, really enjoy, like just Roger Moore. It's you know how like as you get older and you start noticing all the more awful shit that happens in the world, right? And it
yeah.
becomes exhausting. That's why I like Roger Moore's movies because he's such a caricature of a superhero. Like
Oh.
he's always saving the world. It's always cheesy. The stakes are high, but they never feel high. Um, like the stakes are always like world domination or some apocalyptic whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
but it just never feels like it. So, um, his movies are just fun. They're just really fucking fun. So yeah,
I like that.
um,
So it's like the difference of
yeah,
the first couple Fast and Furious movies versus the later ones, where it's like the stakes are
exactly.
high, but it's not like we gotta drive our cars on the ice to get to the submarine that's gonna blow up the world and then go to
Mhm.
space because we're street
Pretty much.
racers.
Fun fact: I'm in the process of editing my next Still Family episode,
Nice. Still
which was on
family.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Don't you talk about Fast and Furious movies? I love them. I will be there first in line to see every single new one, just like Mission Impossible. And yet I will still make fun of them. But
Dude,
they're
then
so
I'm
dumb,
gonna
but
have
I
to have
love them.
I'm gonna have to have you on a Still Family episode
Yeah.
because I've only recorded the first two. First one's out. Second one will be out this Friday. I have to finish editing it, but it's gonna be out this Friday.
Nice.
And my guest and I, Ozzy from formerly of the Region Free Gamers podcast, we discovered a new cinematic universe. It's the a new MCU, the Miami cinematic universe.
Really?
And just because like he was talking about him and his wife live in Miami, and so they were talking about the movie and just how like all the different filming locations and how it doesn't quite add up. But it's funny. So if you remember in Too Fast Too Furious, there's a bunch of kind of like somewhat unnamed racers, like especially in the very very beginning, where like Brian races. You'll never guess what their names are, the characters' names, not the actors' names.
Okay.
So we went down a whole freaking rabbit hole. So the opening of the movie, it's Brian, Paul Walker versus three different other racers, right?
Yeah.
The actors who play them are Michael Ealy, Amori Nolasco, and Devin Aoki. Devin Aoki plays Suki, who's kind of like the hot Asian chick in the movie.
Right.
She also flirts with Ludacris or Tej
Yeah.
in it.
I
Right?
know her from she was in the very, very bad Dead or Alive
Yes.
adaptation.
Well, funnily enough, so Devin Aoki, she is the sister of Steve Aoki, the
Right.
DJ.
Have you ever seen his
Who-
caking videos?
His what?
Caking? videos, like where he hits
No.
people with cakes? That's like his famous
No.
thing. He can hit somebody pinpoint in the back of a crowd with a full-size sheet cake like every single time. He just nails people with it and they love it. And it's such a ridiculous skill. He did it one time, I think, like off of a boat or onto a boat, like a moving boat, and he hit somebody. Like, it's incredible. Like his music's pretty good, but his caking skills are stellar. Also, Gilmer, how dare you? Please watch Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift's not bad. Like I'm not saying it's like phenomenal, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I like it.
Now, well, here's the crazy thing. Devin Aoki and Steve Aoki have a dad named Rocky Aoki, or Hiroaki Aoki, who is the founder of Benihana.
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And if you go, so we did all this on the episode. If you go to his Wikipedia page, the first sentence, Hiroaki Aoki, better known as Rocky Aoki, or Aoki, I guess, was a Japanese-born restaurateur. Okay, yeah, we know. Benihana creator, all that stuff. Comma.
And
professional offshore powerboat racer and an amateur wrestler.
Wow. What a resume.
When I read that, I'm like, excuse me.
And the father of Steve and Devin Aoki, or Aoki. I assume it's got to be Aoki, right? Because Aoki that's not how you pronounce Aoki. Japanese names.
Yeah, Aoki is like a very American, like English American pronunciation.
Yeah. You can keep your funny. Bow wow. He was probably the worst part of that movie, to be fair.
What I just love though is that he's a professional offshore powerboat racer as opposed to an onshore powerboat racer. All those boats racing on the shore.
You know, land boats, otherwise known as cars.
Right. So I understand like offshore generally means like you're like right off the shore.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in the middle of the ocean. But still, I just find it a little funny.
That's amazing.
So that was all just the first character, right? That is Devin Aoki from Too Fast, Too Furious, who plays Suki. Then you have Michael Ealy, who's kind of like he's a little bit of a pretty boy. He has like a girlfriend, and they're talking about how like, oh, you better win because we got to pay rent. So he seems a little responsible. Right. His character's name, even though they never say it once, is Slapjack.
Okay.
And finally, Amari Nolasco, he's kind of an asshole in the movie. His character's name is Orange Julius.
And my wife, Dairy Queen.
My favorite, though, by far, my favorite. There are two characters who are like they kind of look like. They make fun of me. The one dude looks like Fonzie, like an old Fonzie.
Okay.
And the other dude looks like Fabio. And, Roman Pierce or, Tyrese even calls him that at one point in the movie. But their character names are some of the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen in my life.
Please tell me it's Bebop and Rocksteady.
No, if only. The dude who's Fabio, his character's name is Darden.
Okay.
A little weird. My favorite though is the dude who plays the other guy, the other guy who looks like Fonzie. His character's name is Corpy.
Corpy?
Korpi. Corpy.
Did they name themselves? Like who came up with these weird? They sound like. I feel like I've talked about this before, but they sound like that Japanese baseball game on the NES where they just made American sounding names without coming up with real names. Like there's one of the players' names is Bobson Dugnut, and that's Bobson Dugnut. There's Sleeb Bonzales or something. Like it's all weird shit like that.
Sleeb.
It's a me, Corpy.
Corpy is just the funniest thing. It makes me laugh.
That's amazing.
I love it. So anyway, sorry I've derailed you telling about your experiences.
No, it's all right. First I'll say, because before I forget, you mentioned like a guest who's on another podcast or something, and that reminded me. I finally listened to that. Well, I listened to the first 3 parts of the Sonic and Knuckles deep dive by Retronauts.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
What'd you think of it?
really, really cool, really interesting. And certain parts, like I love their passion, of course, because I'm a huge Sega fanboy, so I love their like deep dives. But there were certain parts that had me laughing my ass off out of nowhere. Like I don't know if it's the main. I don't know their names yet because they, they're all very.
Stu and Stu was the host of those episodes, and I can't remember his guest's name, but Stu
The British one. There's a British one, a Scottish
both,
one, and a American one. I think in the first one.
I don't remember the Scottish one at all. But Stuart Jipp is the British one. He's the host.
Yeah, he's. I guess it was Stuart then. He just had so many little lines that like were very much in my type of humor. Like I remember one one of the segments, the guy, somebody else was playing it and was like, "Oh no, I fell into the water and I got stuck and I drowned," or something like that. And he goes, "Yep," without missing a beat. He goes, "Yeah, same thing happened to me at my baptism." It's so good. Oh my god! And I also didn't know that. I thought I knew everything about this franchise, especially the old ones. But you know the elemental shields in Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
No.
Oh, that's right. I forget you know like nothing about Sonic. So
I
don't mean that as a dig.
No, I didn't take it as that.
Okay.
Specifically, 3 and Knuckles. I've played 1 and 2 a decent amount. 3 and Knuckles I barely touched.
Oh, okay. I played that one recently. We played it all the way through, and I hate to say it, but I think it is the best one.
Sonic 3 and Knuckles?
Yeah, 2 used to be my favorite. 2 might still be my favorite, but I do think 3 and Knuckles, like that, the full game that it was always meant to be, is definitely the best one. But so in that one, there's 3 elemental shields that you can get, like out of the little boxes that give you rings or fast shoes. You can get either a fire shield, which they all give you a double jump and a bonus feature. So fire shield, when you double jump, like kind of boosts you forward in like a fireball, kind of like the Kirby fireball move. And fire traps won't hurt you. There is a water shield, which is basically just a bubble. It lets you kind of bounce, and you can like gain height vertically in a bubble, and you also can never drown. The electric shield gives you like a spring kind of like boing, like double jump midair. And it pulls rings to you like a magnet, like an electromagnet, which is cool. But one bonus feature that I never knew about, and this blew my mind, and I like turned it on to try it out. You can, if you have an electric shield and you jump into water, if there are any enemies in the water, they all die.
Oh.
I was like, that's such a cool, but I've never in my like 30 years of playing that game had a moment in a level where I had the electric shield near water that had enemies in it. So I was like, I feel like someone secretly, sneakily like patched that in like to the Sega Genesis video game from 30 years ago.
I'm glad you like those episodes, man. Like, I think like
they're great.
My only issue with them is they digress a little too much for my liking.
Yeah, they're so long.
Yes. But the thing is, the thing that carried me through that is like what you mentioned before. Their passion is like, it's palpable. Like, you really feel how much joy the game brings for them. Like, when I told you, like, the first episode, they spent almost the entirety of like the 2-hour runtime going over like the first level.
The first level. Yeah. And it's worth it because that game is like on another level. Welcome to the next level. On another level compared to like 1 and 2. Like 2 is a pretty steep improvement over 1, and then 3 is like they both double exponentially. Like double the enjoyment of 1 and you get 2, double the enjoyment of 2 and you get 3 and Knuckles. And I feel like I'm betraying my first video game I ever owned, which was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, by saying it, but it is just a better game. It's so good. The sprites are better, the music. Michael Jackson did some of the music, which is wild to me.
Yep.
Anyway, I can talk about Sonic till Kingdom Come. Things that I experienced this week. Last night I beat, to keep it in the pseudo Sega family, I beat Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Drew was there for that, and I believe who else was there? Was it Parallax? No, Keaton was there. Keaton came by for a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So very cool. Yeah, thanks, Drew. Yeah, it was Keaton. Very, very solid follow up. Actually, I don't even know if I want to say follow up. Very solid spiritual sister / love letter to Jet Set Radio Future specifically. I wanted to say follow up, but then I'm coming to my negatives about it, which is it doesn't really do much to differentiate itself from Jet Set Radio. Like, it's very much like, how did they get away with this? Like, I genuinely want to know. Like, it's just Jet Set Radio, which is great, and it's great in all the ways that I wanted it to be great, but I just kind of wish there was something more. Like, it felt like I was playing Jet Set Radio on the original Xbox. I wanted to feel like I was playing Jet Set Radio on the Nintendo Switch, you know? There's, yeah, it's in widescreen. Yeah, it's like a cleaner, crisper graphics. But like, other than that, it feels like it could have been from that era. And I wish they had just done a little bit more to make. I know they're a very small team, so they couldn't have made like a huge game. But it felt similar in scope. And I just kind of wish that they had done a little bit more to differentiate themselves. Which they do, but I just wish there was a little bit more. Like, did you ever see Mary and the Witch's Flower?
No.
Okay, so
never even heard of it.
It's a Ghibli movie made by XG.
Oh shit! What's up, Luigi?
Hey, Luigi's apartment.
Yeah, Luigi's a good dude.
Excellent work with that United CEO, Luigi.
I'm sure he's gotten that a ton.
I'm sure. Keep it coming. So Mary and the Witch's Flower is it's an anime movie made by ex Ghibli animators. So it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sure, it feels like a Ghibli movie, but it's also like ends up kind of being forgettable because it's like, but we already have this, you know, like what are you going to do while not being at Studio Ghibli to differentiate yourself from, I don't even remember it's like Ponkok or something. Ponkok. Yeah, here we go. Ponok, Studio Ponok. I don't remember. Like, their name, I've forgotten it because like I watched it and I was like, that was nice. I liked that, I guess. But it just kind of felt like a Ghibli movie that like shouldn't have gotten made. Like, it needed to have a little bit more polish. And I kind of feel, I don't feel that Bomb Rush Cyberpunk should not have been made. Let me be clear, because I loved it. But
it didn't differentiate itself enough from its influences.
Yeah. And I think that holds it back a little bit, but I would still definitely recommend it if you are even remotely interested in Jet Set Radio-esque games. The way you do graffiti is really cool. The like dancing mechanic is pretty cool. Like, you can just start like break dancing, and if you do it in certain spots, like other characters will come in and start dancing with you.
That's cool.
The one glaring thing that they really missed out on, and I know this is budgetary, was there's no multiplayer of any kind. And people in the Steam version have modded it and made like really cool looking, well, a ton of like really cool mods in general. But like multiplayer mods where you can just like skate around a city with your friends and just like jam out and do graffiti together. And like, it's super rad. And I'm like, why? This needed to be in the real thing. What is that little?
It be what it be.
What is that emoji? Oh, it's one of the Luigi.
It's
in the panels.
From, Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Super Mario World.
Like the boss.
I love it.
Boss stage panels. That's great.
No, it's just little fence panels that like you can get in the first level, or the second level in Super Mario World. Mario will like hover across and he kind of knocks on it
and you hit
it around.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought they were only in the fiery boss levels.
No.
Oh.
Well, maybe I don't actually. Fuck, I don't know.
It's been a long time since I played those.
It's been a while.
But it's been a while. But yeah. So other than that, and I talked about this while I was beating Bomb Rush Cyberpunk last night, but I don't want to jinx it, but just before my stream, I had my second interview with that Japanese design agency.
Ooh,
yeah. So I don't want to say who it is or anything like that until like I know for sure. I don't want to say like, yes, I got it in the bag, but it went really well. They are not because they would have to like sponsor my visa, take me over there. Like it's a big risk for them coming across
Yeah.
the world and all that stuff. So they want to take their time. I'm going to probably do a little bit of freelance design work for them. I'm going to regroup with them in the next couple weeks. But he was like, so I talked to the COO this time. I talked to the CEO the first time. And he was like, your work is incredible. I just am afraid of, and remember, this is a Japanese design agency, a Japanese company. Like they're all expats, so they don't have the super like toxicness of like old school Japanese companies. But still, to hear this from a Japanese company was wild. He was like, I want to make sure that I can pay you what you're worth. And I was like, I've been waiting to hear that my entire career, like the past 8 years of the job that I was at. And so he's like, so because of that, we need to get like a few more like big clients before I can commit to that. Cause I don't want to, string you along or be like, yeah, I'll bring you on for like pennies, So I was like, that's incredible. He's like, him and the CEO, he's like, we take pay cuts all the time to take care of our people. And because that's like, our team is first. And I was like, oh my God, like what? Like I don't want to say I lucked out because I worked my ass off to like get these interviews and stuff and zhuzh up my portfolio all nice and like learn the craft and like be able to be in this position in the first place. But the fact that like I found this company that responded and the interviews are going really well with a company that seems really healthy, really into like design forward and just like people first and leading with empathy, like all these things that I always talk about just feels very, we can say serendipitous. It just feels right. And I do feel like this is going to be the thing that leads me to Japan, but I don't think it's going to be, he said the timeline is, if all goes well, it will be sometime this year. So, which is cool because the apartment that, we have kind of on hold for us, from Police's old, Japanese professor, is going to be like around July or August. So I was like, that's 7 months from now. So, maybe that's enough time. I don't know. Like it may be towards the end of the year, but
if that happens though, that means Talk Tuesdays are going to be at what are like Wednesday mornings for you.
Yeah. Talk Tuesday is going to be, so if we start at 8 on a Tuesday night, that'll be either
like
9
a.m. for you or 10 a.m. for you, depending on
daylight savings. Yeah.
On daylight savings.
I know. Right now it's been fucking me up because I was supposed to have a meeting with one of my other Japanese clients and which that just sounds so cool to say. And he like missed the meeting because of the daylight savings thing. And then but it's okay. Yep. I missed one too. So we were both like, "Oh my God." I hate, we need to just do away with daylight savings in general.
Every time I say that, I agree because I hate the time shift and it's a pain in the ass. But every time I say that, it's like when you shift over, I'm like, man, the current time makes more sense to keep. And then you switch over, I'm like, man, why? Because like right now, for example, what is it? I guess if you spring forward, daylight the sun's not going to wake you up as early. So if sunrise is at 6 a.m. right now, or like 7 a.m. right now, it'll be 8 a.m.
Right.
When we spring forward. And then I'm like, well, it's easier to get up. But then by the fall, I'm like, man, why are you making us fall back when like now it's going to get dark at 5 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock? It makes more sense to keep it the way it is right now because then it's not getting dark at 5 o'clock. But it's whatever.
Yeah, I think
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks. I was really excited. I'm trying to temper my expectations so I'm not like putting all my emotional eggs in one emotional basket, so to speak. But it is. It's sounding like it's going to be it. So I am super stoked. I'm going to regroup with him in a couple of weeks and maybe do some freelance stuff. But that's a foot in the door. Coordinating with podcast guests that live in Japan is so awkward. Yeah, totally. Okay, so you're a podcaster. I should say, welcome, Luigi's apartment, to the Experience Point. We talk about things that we've experienced, especially on Tuesdays, which are Talk Tuesdays.
Luigi is part of the Need for Speedrunning community.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of your podcast, right? Why am I blanking on it? I literally was just in your chat the other night.
Need for Speedrunning.
Yeah, Need for Speedrunning. It's a podcast that's run by him, his buddy Brad, if I remember correctly, Luigi, and then J Hobbs, who was one of the heads of Games Done Quick.
Not B Rad and J Hobbs. That's cool though.
Yes,
I'm so glad Games Done Quick is. Well, I think it's just about over now, but I'm so glad
it
it's
did end on Saturday.
Yeah, I love when that goes
Saturday
on.
into
It's so much content for me to watch because I watch everything. I'll at least watch if it's like an hour long speed run. I'll probably like at least watch like the first 15 minutes, but I watch everything to see just what they do in games. Even if I've never heard of the game, I just like to see cool speed run tech. Need for Speed Run is a fantastic name. It totally is. Although at first I was like, wait, do you only speed run Need for Speed games? One of these days I'm gonna speed run a game. Like I used to unofficially speedrun when I was a kid. I would speedrun like, the first Halo game, and I would, oh my god, so this is I didn't have a little clock or anything. This is when the first Halo came out, so I was 13 years old. I had a CD. If you put like a PC game into a CD player, it would just be like 99 minutes and 99 seconds. And so I would play it. I would hit play, start the level, and then when I would beat the level, I would hit pause on the CD to see how much time had elapsed because I didn't have like a stopwatch. We didn't have phones or, a computer or anything that could do that. So that was my like bootleg way to speed run back in the day.
I have sped run one game.
Nice.
I'm fourth in the world at Sledstorm, the PS1 snowmobile racing game.
You're fourth in the world?
Right, out of 10.
Still, that's top 5 you've placed.
Yeah, but I haven't also done anything in 4 years. I'd have to redo it because it's been a little bit. There's like some of the other categories. So there's quick races, championship mode, and score attack are the 3 categories. Only one person has run championship mode, and it's the guy who's the world record holder, who I'm actually good friends with.
Nice.
He's actually he wants me to commentate for a speed run of it. Like if he ever gets onto like GDQ or something like that, he would want me to commentate for it, but I'd have to study up on it again.
Nice.
But after watching GDQ this past week, I've been thinking about it. I'll be honest, man, GDQ was such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you off mic about all the stuff going on like in my personal life. That was such a great respite. Like I found so much, and also just like all the like I don't want to go into the like go down a spiral hole or anything like that, but all the shit happening in the world right now.
I know.
Politically in the U.S., all that shit. Like everyone knows where Andrew and I pretty much stand on all this shit. That was like the one bright spot in a week of just like so many bad things happening around the world.
Yeah.
And it was a bright spot of a community coming together to raise money for charity, all on the backs, and they've continued to do this. They've continued, like GDQ was one of the first things I remember to add pronouns to a lot of their stuff. Like they've been extremely trans inclusive,
incredibly.
Aren't afraid to shout trans rights in each of their streams and all that other stuff. Like incredibly accepting. And I'll be honest, man, like you know me, I came from a conservative background and I've slowly become more liberal over time. I didn't like the pronouns when it first came around. I'm like,
Really?
That's stupid. Why would I wasn't ever like angry necessarily, but I was just kind of like that. Why? Like I was more like cranky old man, not angry old man.
Yeah. Old man yells at cloud. Yeah. And you're right, Luigi, that, it is a really good time to be like right after the holidays. It is a good palate cleanser. I've noticed that like I'll go out. I try to walk a lot, and I'll like come back like, oh my god, this morning it was 9 degrees here, and I was like, I'll go out or if I go get groceries or something, and I come back and I'll be like, oh, I'll just throw on like what run just got uploaded, and I don't know. Oh, what? Oh, little
real
one.
Quick, keep on going. My kid's okay. My mother-in-law's pipes freeze in her bathroom, and I have to let the water run. And I turned them off because they were running all day because we forgot to turn them off.
Oh.
But it's like 10 degrees, so I'm gonna hope they're not frozen yet. It's been
damn.
about 4 hours since I turned them off, so we'll see.
It's probably fine.
So give me 1 second to
Okay.
double check. But yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. I will just continue about how much I love GDQ. I know some people in the community. Obviously not. I don't have a huge following. I'm slowly starting to build up a little community here. Much thanks to everyone who's in chat right now. And I had a friend of the. I was gonna say friend of the show, but real life, my Risaru, who runs she runs Sonic R and Sonic Adventure and communities nuts. Wow. I got a really good communities nuts. Nice. And you got on our case about saying untoward things. That just means you're in the right spot, Gilmer. But yeah, not to gush about the people in my stream, but it's true. It is true. It is Drew, and it is you. I like that. That face is taking me back to like Flash animations from like the early to mid 2000s.
Okay, we all good.
I was just talking smack about you the whole time. All right, everyone, shut up. He's back.
And of course, right when I come back, my kid starts having a coughing fit.
Aww.
Poor kiddo.
Yeah. So remember,
but that's the first one in a while. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just talking about. I was like talking about my community, and Gilmer's like, community's nuts. Did I tell you about the eucalyptus one the other day that I'd had?
What?
With the whole the D's nuts thing. He called you strong said. Oh no. I told you I don't want to be called Dairy Queen anymore. I made a mistake. Okay, Dairy Queen. No, I was saying in the D's nuts thing. The other day I was my girlfriend, for those who don't know, was like, she said something like, oh, she had some beauty product or whatever. She's like, oh, it's got eucalyptus. And I was like, eucalyptus dick. And then we both proceeded to laugh, and I just continued laughing afterwards, like laughing at my own joke because I caught myself off guard with how fast it was. Eucalyptus dick. I made a mistake. Hi, stop. So I miss the Homestar Runner cartoons. I mean, they're still. I miss them being good. They still come out like a couple times a year, and I'm like, nah. Maybe I've grown. Maybe I've changed. Maybe Homestar Runner has stayed the same, and I am the one who has moved on.
I used to love AVGN, and while I still like this stuff, it's not as fun as it used to be for me. I've
always thought he was so annoying. I've always hated the way. I'm sorry, you've got eucalyptus stick. Hey, that's maybe not a bad thing because eucalyptus is like a soothing. It's good for your skin. It's good for your face. It's great for facials. Anyway, yeah, I have a couple more things to talk about that I've experienced, but I've been talking for a while. So why don't you tell me one more thing that you, sir, have experienced?
Sure. Besides playing, so I've been playing Paper Mario 1000 Year Door, really enjoying that so far. Also, weird Gen Xers aren't as cool as they were to us back then. Very true.
That's true. That's so true.
I've also been playing because I got a review copy of it. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver.
Uh-oh, Drew the Damager is coming back to life as soon as you're saying this.
Is it one of his favorites?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Drew. I don't like it.
Oh, no! Well, you just got unfollowed.
No, so here so far, because I got a review code for the HD remake. So far, what my issues with it are... let me do pros and cons, not just the negative stuff. Gameplay is streaming at like 20 minutes. Well, there we go.
Nice.
Gameplay is super inventive, especially for the PS1 era. I'm very impressed by like you switch back and forth between like a ghost world and the real world, and when you're in the real world, your like health gradually declines, so you have to make sure you consume souls to keep your health up. But it moves at such a glacial pace that it doesn't feel too unfair. So that's cool. It also, by going to the ghost world, sometimes different puzzles will become solvable. So for example, there's this one area where like you can't go anywhere, but if you switch back to ghost form, all of a sudden stuff comes out of the wall, like platforms come out of the walls,
Okay.
excuse me, and then you can climb the platforms, turn back into like the corporeal form, and continue on with the adventure. So then it encourages you to kind of poke around and explore, or try different things, and they give you all the tools right there, which is kind of cool.
It's like
They
the
also
first
have
Prey game. Do you remember
I'm
that?
also really impressed by. I've never played the first Prey game. I'm also really impressed by the portal system, where essentially, like, every time you save and quit and you start the game back up and load your save file, you start in the same location no matter what. You walk down a hallway and there's a portal, and you can, so long as you made it to, like, you activated one of the other many portals throughout the game world, you can just fast travel to it. Sorry, my wife just came home.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
my wife. What, did she scare you?
Well, Harvey scared me.
Oh, Harvey.
Yeah, he just, did you not hear that?
Oh, I heard the like the. Is that his nails on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he was like barking up a storm. Yeah, so he what is it? So you sorry, I'm lost my
hey!
thought because of him.
Thank you for the follow, Luigi's apartment. Appreciate it.
So you what is it? Yeah, so
The portals
the,
in
you
Soul
when
Reaver.
when you select which portal that you go to after you've unlocked it, you literally just walk into it and it just loads the world right from there.
Nice.
It's really impressive for a PS1 game.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks really good for PS1. My issues with it, one, it could be the Switch port that I'm playing of the HD remaster. It's fucking dark as hell. I cannot see anything. It is so hard to see anything in there, which is very frustrating to say the least. And then my bigger issue with it is that it's the worst kind of maze. You will get to a section, you beat a boss or you beat a certain segment, and it's linear up to a point, and then they say you got this new ability. Now you can get to a place that you haven't been before, or you can bypass this obstacle that you couldn't before. And I went, great, that's cool. But then they give you no direction of like where that is. They give you a vague direction of like, you have to go to this place, and you can see it on the map, but the map isn't one-to-one with the world, at least as far as I can tell. Or if it is, it's very hard to follow. So like I could not figure out for the life of me how to get to, so like you do have to end up fighting Kane pretty early on in the game. Like he's like the second boss, but obviously you don't defeat him as the second boss. He'll come back later on. I had to get a walkthrough to figure out how to get to him, because because after you beat the first boss, you get an ability to, when you're in the ghost form, to like phase through gates, right? Phase through like like almost looks like a jail cell gate, right? With metal bars and whatnot. When you're in the ghost form, you can do that. And they're like, now you can, so they tell you like, now you can get to a place you haven't before. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to use this ghost form. No problem. No harm, no foul. They give you no direction of where to start searching for that. So you just have to backtrack through the entire level, which at that point took me like even if you just walk straight through, you're probably talking about like 20 to 30 minutes of exploring just walking around aimlessly till you can find this one thing.
Which was the style at the time. It's very much that era. I can't stand that.
Oh, listen, I don't need you to handhold me per se.
Yeah.
It is dark as fuck. So originally there was no day night cycle, but there was supposed to be. They added it in for the remake, and everyone
hates it. What?
Wait, so if I play the game at night, is it just darker out. So if I change my Switch clock, will it be daytime? Because if they fucking do that, I'm pissed because
Yeah.
that's why
It's
I was
probably not one to
wondering.
one. It's probably like a shorter cycle.
No, okay. Can I turn off the day night cycle?
Yeah.
Can I do something? Um, so that those are my biggest gripes with it. It's very dark, and I think that it does a very poor job at like I
Oh, it cycles
exploration.
every 6 minutes.
Oh Jesus, um, with which is not helpful because I couldn't beat the one boss, the first boss of the game. There is a like section that you have like there's like a big circular like cell in the center that with no roof so you can jump over it, but then there's two like cell gates on the left and right side, and there's levers behind those gates, but the way you get to them is that on the top left and the top right, like if you take like the stone portions on the left and right side of those metal gates on the left and right side of the arena, and you go literally look straight up, there's holes that you can just jump up, climb up, and walk over and be on the other side.
Hmm.
um you can't see them
Oh
at all.
no.
You literally could not see that there was a hole there. I just thought it was a dark spot, like everything else was a dark spot.
Yeah.
So it was fucking infuriating. um
That's the patch people are
and
waiting for, apparently.
dude, it's so bad, it's so fucking hard to see anything. um so that's my beef with that. And then just like I said, like if you're going to make me explore, that's fine, but the world is too dark to see anything.
Yeah.
And it kind of the world's too dark to see anything. And even if it wasn't, it's not that visual. Everything looks the same because it's a PS1. It's PS1 stone textures.
Right.
Like I I don't really care enough about the world to explore it. Like you tell me to go to a spot, but I have no way of knowing if I'm going the right direction or not. Like at least like even like games that were like obtuse with things like the original with like World of Warcraft. If you read the quest log or you read the quest that you're given, they would say, this thing is somewhere to the north or somewhere to the west, and you would go give like general directions, and you could get more context clues from the thing. So even though they wouldn't fucking tell you exactly where something was, you could read the quest log and infer. This you
Mm.
can't even fucking infer. Like you have
Yeah.
to like
You
just
just have to
explore
know.
the and like the next section I beat Kane, the boss Kane. So I'm going to be basically using strategy guides to figure out how to get around to different places, and then just not trying not to look them up for the puzzle.
Yeah. There's no shame in that. I had to look plenty of
And
stuff up when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom because not everything is super clear
you
on
have to turn
stream.
your face. Like Alundra on PS1 was the same for me. I don't want to explore the world because it's tough to tell what I'm looking at. Exactly, Luigi. Exactly. And then Drew has to turn off his face light so he can see. Yeah,
That's
it's fucking
hilarious
annoying.
and so aggravating.
So
Ugh.
I feel bad that I got it's one of the first review codes I've gotten from like a legit like developer, not
Yeah.
like no shaded indie developers. They're legit developers too, but like a double A or triple A
Right.
developer, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
And I applied for it. They didn't reach out to me, just to be clear. I
Hmm.
applied for it and they said, "Yeah, sure." They sent me the review code and I don't like it. I
Uh,
just don't like the game.
I
So,
would.
I'll
That's the one that I would consider going back and playing. Like I know, Drew, you've been playing that whole series, and the first couple ones you were playing, I was like, I don't know if I can go back this far. But Soul Reaver, at least, like I don't mind a janky PS1 platformer. I might play that just because that's a
It's got
series
some
that's
good moments.
never. That's a series that's always gone over my head. I've never touched any of those games.
Yeah.
But are you
Am I
enjoying
enjoy
the dialogue?
I'm not disenjoying it, but it just kind of like washes over me because the places I'm playing, it's kind of hard to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the dialogue isn't bad. The story so far is good. It just feels like just how can I put it? If it just doesn't do anything for me. I don't even
Hmm.
want to say it's bad. It's
Just neutral.
I'm neutral to it. Like
Okay.
it sometimes it's also hard to follow because they use a lot of superfluous words and stuff, which is
Yeah.
fine. Like it's if it's for like character building and stuff like that. Um, but like maybe not superfluous words is the right way to describe
Just
it,
like
but
flowery
it,
vampire talk.
yeah, a little bit like that.
Yeah.
It's very flowery, which is fine, but there's no I don't care about any of these characters, so I'm not invested in like really paying attention to their dialogue. Like
Gotcha.
Kane's starting to get an interesting story as he's like because he was not Kane, I'm sorry, the Soul Reaver, I forget your character's actual name.
Raziel or something.
Raziel, yes, thank you. Raziel's starting to get a little interesting because, Kane, Raziel's the first to get like, he's the first vampire or whatever to get like wings, and Kane's like, well, we can't have that. He's stronger than me, and
And
he
they
rips your
rip
wings
it
off.
off.
And throws it.
I watched
Yeah,
that on Drew's stream. I was like, oh my God, what the hell did I just come into?
yeah. And then you have to like fight your way back up from hell.
Vampire culture is esoteric and tougher than normies to parse. Yeah, I can barely even like get. I have to ration my way through what we do in the shadows, much less like something serious. But it's mostly just because I get pissed off at the characters. It's like that show is hysterical, and I highly recommend it. But you have to be in the mood for something like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where everyone is awful. And so like that's not.
That's hard for me to get into.
Yeah,
it's hard. So it's been fine. Those are the two big things I've experienced this week. Games Done Quick, obviously, like I said, was just my daughter was watching them with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
She liked watching. Which ones did she like to watch? She liked watching
Elden Ring beaten on a saxophone.
No, I wouldn't show her that. Not because it's Elden Ring, but because it's Elden Ring. It's M. I had to pick what I could show her and what I couldn't.
Yeah.
But I did show her the Road Runner, like Sega Genesis or like Super Nintendo game.
Doot.
Indeed. We did watch the Crazy Taxi concert.
That was so damn cool.
It was a great idea. I didn't enjoy the band at all.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
You know what? I don't care. I'm props to the sound team, props to the commitment. Like, it's one of those ones where I don't know if it was the mixing or whatnot. It just didn't work for me. But
Yeah.
I'm
But the
happy
logistics
they did
of it.
and I want more of it.
Yeah.
I want more of that type of thing.
I liked the guy. I think it was last year, or maybe it was summer. Games Done Quick. Last year, it was somebody beat Mario 64 on a drum kit, and I was like, "That's so damn
that
cool."
was great.
You don't like the Offspring?
I don't mind the Offspring. I'm not a fan of '90s rock in general.
See,
the Offspring I can tolerate though. I actually kind of like when I listen to them. I don't mind them.
they're one of my
I
favorites.
like them well enough. But like general like '90s like grunge and kind of like soft rock, I cannot stand.
I would call them like punk, but
The Offspring isn't grunge or soft rock. I was just talking like I'm not a fan of '90s punk either. Like I'm not even a big Green Day fan.
I'm not either. The drum kit Mario 64 set the bar so high, it's tough to live up to. Yeah, that was just so damn cool. I mean, the saxophone Elden Ring was pretty cool.
Well, one dude was playing piano and playing Mario with his head.
Damn, that's wild.
That was this year too.
Nice. I haven't watched that one yet. I will always watch like the weird, or
the sounds of birds.
The Offspring. The Offspring started as a punk band and became a pop rock band. I would say they have pop elements, but they're definitely not punk like they used to. But I still think they are still, I would say, pop punk. More so than pop rock.
I actually enjoy the Offspring a decent amount. It's in general 90s music just does not hit for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
With the exception of Creed for some reason, but that's
with
more
arms wide open under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. Scott Stapp in the house.
He's a wild dude.
I do that voice around the house all the damn time.
I'm sure Polisa loves it.
She does. That's the only reason I do it, because she's like, oh my God, I'm living.
Real quick before I wrap up, I also recently picked up one of these bad boys.
I see shiny. There we go. What is that?
There we go.
Memory card?
That is an R4 card where I can play totally legal Nintendo DS and 3DS games.
I see. I see.
There is not something in the back right here that pops in and out.
Definitely not at all.
No, that's for pictures.
It's to back up all of the entire library of 3DS and DS that you own. It's to legally back it up.
Yes, that's exactly what
and I've been there. I've seen it every single, including imports from every country that's been made. He's got the whole set. That's cool. I've never been. The only system I've ever modded was a Wii, and it was only so that I could play Project M, which was like that. It was a mod for Brawl that made it like more competitive and just better and actually good.
See, it's funny. I had a guest on my show years ago. We were talking about Smash, and he stands by that Brawl was the best one.
Is he serious, or is he saying it?
He's serious.
Ironically,
he's very serious. He's younger than us, so that definitely is part of it.
Okay, so that was the one when.
But his logic, I actually kind of agree with, because this was before I think Ultimate came out, though, mind you. So a lot of people like Ultimate quite a bit, but
gross.
His logic was that
correct response.
His logic was that like it had like there was I forget what I'd have to go back and listen to the episode. He made a compelling argument.
Okay,
I'll give him that. He made a compelling argument.
Drew is heading out. Thanks for hanging, Drew. We'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your stream, and if you're playing Soul Reaver, just keep that switch for that light on and off.
Keep that brightness up.
Yeah. Take it easy.
I have to get going soon as well.
Okay.
Because I need to start. I want to. My wife did get home. I want to check in with her.
Yeah.
And then also I got to start my stream in a little bit.
Sick. I have two more things.
Go for it.
That are pretty quick. I watched this anime called Gunbuster, and it is like an 80s mecha anime. But so when I first heard about it, what drew me to it originally was it's 6 episodes long. So I'm like, sick. That's 2 hours. That's watching a movie. So I watched the whole thing. I've been I played Tech Romancer on the Dreamcast when I was doing my top 10 Dreamcast games, and it's got like a character that's like the Mazinger Z, like old school round body mecha, like kind of Super Sentai, like a little goofy. And this show seemed like that, and I was like, oh, cool. I want something kind of corny, and I'll watch 2 hours of that just to see what it's like. I keep hearing about how good it is, and it was a little bit that, but then I was like, oh my God, this set the stage for like I kept forgetting how old it was, and I was like, this feels really new. This feels like the way that they handle space is like the space-time continuum and stuff is like how Interstellar did it, where it's like the further away you get from Earth, the faster time goes relatively, like on Earth. And I was like, when did this come out? In the 80s? Like, and Interstellar was the first time I had seen any piece of media do that in such a realistic way. And like so like the science of the space travel is really cool. The enemy, I guess, which I will say, that's all I'll say, is very mysterious, and you know very little about them, but I really like that. And it's more about like it's kind of like how in The Walking Dead, it's not about zombies. The zombies are just part of the setting, and it's about the relationships of the characters in the show. It's very much like this. Very, really, really just very compelling, really interesting. Like there's an episode where without spoiling anything, the final episode is after a short time skip, and the whole episode's in black and white. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Luigi, I love a good short anime series. Oh, totally. This is like a short. Like
you said 6 episodes.
It's 6 episodes, 20 minutes each, so that's 2 hours. You're watching a movie at that point. And at that, I was like, and the animation is so good because it was also from like the 80s when like everything was hand drawn, that it just should have been a movie. Like I bet somebody's edited the opening credits out of the middle episodes and just made it a movie and it would have been that good. And last thing I'll say about it besides that, I very much recommend it. The I don't know if it was the time period or something with an arc that ends. Oh my god, yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This very much ends. This ends, yes, very definitively. I did hear that there was a sequel series called Die Buster. So this one was Gunbuster, and then there's a sequel series called Die Buster, which is also short. That's not on Crunchyroll, so I'll have to figure out another way to watch that. But I don't think it has anything to do with it. I think it's just in the same universe type deal. But it ends very definitively. But the one thing that I find very funny about it is it's very much of the time where I don't know if they just didn't care about copyright or maybe they had partnerships with these brands, but like characters are like drinking Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and like they'll walk past like poster, like the main girl has in her room like a poster from My Neighbor Totoro and Nausicaa. And I was like, wait, what?
Okay.
That's so funny. But yeah, very good. Like heavy. It made me cry, like because of the heaviness, and there are sad things, but it's a lot of like overcoming adversity and just really interesting, complex characters for how old it is. Like you kind of expect back then like kind of two-dimensional characters, because other shows that I watched of that era are like Inuyasha and stuff where it's like pretty much one-note characters the whole way through. But yeah, definitely recommend it. And then the last thing that I will say that I experienced, this specifically for you, Josh, is something I think you would love. It's a band. Speaking of music, have you heard of a band called Knight Rider?
I mean, I've heard the show.
I was gonna say not with a K like the Hasselhoff talking car show, but like Night Rider.
Isn't Knight Rider also the show with a K?
It is with a K.
Maybe not.
The show is with a K. The band is just N.
Oh, so I think never mind. Either you switched it up or I switched it up in my head. But either way, okay. So Knight Rider, the band, got it.
Yeah. So remember, I know you do. Remember?
Were they a band called Affiance?
Yes.
Dude, I actually used to listen. So back when they were called Affiance, they did a music video with Rock Band instruments, and it was fucking awesome.
Oh, nice. I had a feeling you would at least know who they were before, because that was very much up your alley music-wise. What they sound like now, or like this current project, Knight Rider, is basically And Then There Were None in the 80s.
Okay.
So very much like that kind of, not quite melodramatic, but like it's a bit on the emo side. Emo pop punk kind of, but like, so Knight Rider is that, but like more metal and more like synth. So it's like a synth prog metal band, and they have one album. I think they're coming out with a new one, but they have one album called it's just Knight Rider. It's just a self-titled, and it's bangers front to back. It's excellent, and I really like it.
Cool.
But I think that you would dig it even more, because I remember you showing me And Then There Were None, and I really liked them, and they had that kind of techno rock sound. Yeah. But this is like synth, like straight up. Like if you could listen to one song, I'd recommend the song called The Dark. It's off of, I think, what's going to be their new album. But it's very synth. It just sounds like the opening of like a cop movie, or like, not Fatal Fury. That's a fighting game. Kung Fury. Like that's just that very over the top synthy kind of melodramatic sound. But then like the metal comes in, like the kind of gent prog metal bits come in, and it's like,
that's definitely
whoa.
up my alley. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been kind of obsessed with that album lately. And I was like, I gotta tell Josh about this.
That sounds right up my alley. I haven't listened to like that type of stuff in a while, but I still like anytime something comes on that has like that kind of gent breakdown vibe. I'm like,
yeah,
I do. The whole metal mean mug.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. You're like, it's just gross.
This is just nasty, but it's so good.
It's so good. I have been living lately with my obscure metal bands that like I thought were gonna be out and are coming back. Like one of my favorite metal bands is called Mutiny Within, and they had 3 like nearly perfect albums, and then they went away, and they just teased that they just released their first song that's going to be off their new album, and it was their first album in like 5 years, and I was like, I thought this was done with forever, and now not my all time favorite band, but Chris Clancy, who's the singer, is I think my favorite metal singer. I just love his range. But yeah, I'm stoked for that. I really think you would enjoy Knight Rider.
I'm going to look up some of their stuff.
Yeah. The first song that I heard was called "The Dark," which was really good. Yeah. I have one more thing, but I can save it. It's related to something that I think you may be talking about next week. I don't know if you'll. It's tangentially related to Roadside Picnic, so I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, let's wait till next week, because I mean I haven't started reading really just yet.
Oh, okay. Word.
Here's the thing. I read the like intro, which is like 3 or 4 pages, right? And then the first chapter is 50 pages.
Yeah.
So it's like there's only 4 chapters and they're all 50 pages a pop.
Right. It's like,
It's a short book. I mean, I don't know about weird just yet. I haven't read enough of it just yet, but we'll find out. I got a review copy, so I have to read it.
Yeah. So. Nice. Well,
so yeah.
That is everything that I have experienced this week. And oh wait, I thought there was one more thing. Oh, just super quick. Police and I finished Little Nightmares 2, which was great. Cannot wait for number 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
I still have to play the second one.
It's good. It's I would say it's as good as the first one. There was the first one I think overall was scarier, but there was one sequence in 2 that scared the shit out of me, and it's very stressful. It's like a stressful kind of scary where it's like you have to manage, your light source because stuff is happening in the dark, and it's like, nah! And I don't do horror, like this. I know you don't either, but it's really good. It's just the right amount of horror that I can get into, and it's especially Polisa. But very Coraline, very oh god, I can't even say his name anymore. But the guy who wrote Coraline, who is now, his initials are NG. A bunch of stuff is coming out about
yes
horrible shit that he has done. So I am very disappointed. If it's true, I hope it's not true, but for the sake of the victims, I hope it's not true. But damn, it's sounding like it is, and I hate that. I fucking hate that. I thought he was one of the good ones. It's like Joss Whedon. I was like, really, the guy that wrote Firefly? God damn you, Joss.
What is it? Ash Parrish, who I follow on Blue Sky, I don't know where she got the quote from, but she said like, abusers are just as good at manipulating their victims as they are at their friends.
Ooh, yeah, totally.
And I was like, because that's how they hide it, they're just as good at manipulating people to commit those acts as they are to hide their acts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, that's bringing up some things.
Yep. Well, not for me, but
anyway.
Anyway.
But yeah, I will let you go. Are you streaming Paper Mario tonight?
I will be streaming. Probably. Don't bother. I mean, I hate to lose. There's 4 people watching right now, which would be a really nice raid, but I'm probably going to wait like 20 minutes or so and then jump in. So if you decide to stream for another 20 and send them my way, awesome. But don't wait around for me on this one.
Okay. I will probably jump off. I feel weird just talking by myself. Let me.
What are you talking about?
I could send you guys to Drew. I usually like to raid to G to the next level after you've turned me on to him because I really like his content. But Drew's only got one person, G. So G does not need the views, Yeah,
I love G, but yeah, send him over to Drew. So all right, man. I will thank you as always for the Talk Tuesday, and I will talk to you all next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chatting. Have a good night.
You too.
Peace.
Bye.
And then he died. No. I want to say a very special shout out and thank you to Luigi's apartment. The little angry, little sassy Sassy Link. That Link from not Twilight Princess, Wind Waker. My girlfriend just played that one for the first time, and I forgot how sassy he is. He's so done with everyone's bullshit. But yeah, thank you, Luigi, for hanging out and following and chatting. And I would love to tap your brain on some speed running stuff. I kind of want to get into it, but I also know that I don't really have the time to dedicate to one particular game. But I don't know. This is kind of obscure, but my favorite video game of all time is Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. And I just watched the world record run of that game, which was done in like 8 minutes. And I was like, oh shit, that actually seems kind of manageable to like, it gets cut down really short, So I was like, maybe I'll try that. It's my favorite game. It's, not going to be a huge time sink, but yeah. And just in general, it's great having you here to chat. This whole spiel is the experience point. We're here to talk about, things that we experience. So whether I'm playing a game or chatting, Talk Tuesday, I'll give you my little elevator pitch. On Mondays, I do main quest Mondays. That's where I play story-based games that I'm playing. I just beat Tears of the Kingdom. I just beat Bomber Cyberpunk. Not sure what I'm going to be starting up next Monday. Tuesdays, Talk Tuesdays, where usually I talk to Josh here, but I've had Risaru on, who runs, she was on GDQ and Frame Fatales, or whatever they're calling it now, for a while, and we're friends in real life. So I like to have guests on. Wednesdays is Wildcard Wednesdays, where I just play something totally random, like a random Dreamcast game or some shit. Or if my girlfriend is available to stream, we'll do Girlfriends Days. And then Fridays are Fighting Game Fridays, where I play fighting games. That's my spiel. If any of that sounds cool, we'd love to have you back in and chatting. Favorite game's always a good candidate. That's good to know. Tears of the Kingdom is crazy. Oh, you used to make a Zelda podcast. I loved Tears of the Kingdom. I know that in itself is not a hot take, but it is when you come off of Breath of the Wild, which my hot take is I actually didn't really like Breath of the Wild that much. I thought it was fine, but it didn't. Tears of the Kingdom like captured me in all the ways that I wanted Breath of the Wild to. So Breath of the Wild 2. I still want to call it that sometimes. I'm still like, oh yeah, I just beat Breath of the Wild 2. Nope, it's not that. It's its own game. But I like the powers more. I like the what the hell was that sound? Was that me getting kicked off of the... I think that was me getting kicked off of the Discord call. Yeah. I like the powers more. I like the dungeons more, the characters. I just liked it all. You can express the shit out of yourself. That is so true. It was just another thing that I kind of wanted in Breath of the Wild. And you can in that, but it's in very weird ways that don't seem necessarily intended. Like, I loved when seeing people like break the game in Breath of the Wild and seeing people do like kind of weird stuff like that. But you can do weird, ridiculous stuff in Tears of the Kingdom with mechanics that are intended, which I always think is cool. And you can I've seen people build like Metal Gears and like whole giant airships and stuff, and it was just so damn cool. And also, I know we were talking about Ghibli earlier, but Castle in the Sky, like that whole vibe of overgrown ruins floating up in the sky, like that's such a specific point for me. Like anytime I see a game that has that or does that, I'm like, yep, chef's kiss. I'm in. So it's a vibe. It totally is a vibe. Yeah. I wanted more. Like I wanted more floating islands to explore. Like, so cool. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Maybe not a 10 out of 10. I don't think I've given anything a 10 out of 10. But it was great. I think I would say probably 9.25 out of 10. Maybe encroaching on 9.5. It's very, very good. But yeah, I'm going to head out. That's going to do it here for our Talk Tuesday. Thanks, Luigi. Thanks, Drew, who we're going to raid to. And thanks, Gilmer, if you're still here. And thanks, Josh. It's very, he gives his time every week to come on to chat with me, and we are friends in real life. So, we were friends first in real life before we were friends on any of this stuff. So it's cool to be able to catch up with a friend. But in the meantime, we are going to raid Drew the Damager. Let's see if I can do that. Whoops. If I can spell his name right. Yes. We are going to do that. And I will be back tomorrow for Wildcard Wednesday. I don't even know what I'm going to play. That's how wild this card is. So we will see you all next time. Thank you for experiencing the experience point. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Go to therapy. Play. What's my game recommendation for today? Watch. I will say my recommendation is not to play anything, but to watch. Watch Gunbuster. It's on Crunchyroll. It's 6 episodes long. It's like 2 hours. It's like watching a movie. I don't know how many times I need to say that. It's great. You're great. Have a great night. See ya.